Well, welcome back, everybody. We've got quite a video tonight. With me is...
I'm taking a knee in protest of this video.
Yeah, this is a long video, but it's a good one, I think. But we're starting off on a very bad mission, probably the worst mission in the game, and that's only because of the bonus objective, which is by far the hardest one.
Yes.
Like it's not even close.
This is...
Okay, so to give it just a little background, I did have to do another Templar Overseer mission for this, but the recording for that mission was too long because I kept screwing this mission up, namely the bonus objective. So I deleted it, but that also got rid of the Overseer mission, but it was just kill the Overseer with a pistol. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah. So we are now on hunting for I believe this is our second of Leonardo's... yes, the second of Leonardo's war machines, and this is by far the one that this is one of the two that people really hate, and this is probably the one that everybody hates the most.
Yeah.
Now, is this your first take at the mission, or is this somewhere down the line, or you just seeing how far you can kind of just wander through the first area without killing anybody?
This is my third or fourth attempt, actually.
Yeah, you kind of start learning how bad the AI is in that first section after a while.
Yeah, the initial part of this is just tail the dude without getting spotted. Pretty typical stuff, but you will very quickly get sick of this sequence after a few attempts at this mission.
Yes. So why does this mission suck? Okay, this mission sucks for one, because you have to do this opening tail sequence every single time you want to try to do it and complete the bonus objective.
Yes. It also reveals how bad the checkpointing system is in the Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there is in-mission checkpoints, but they only trigger if you die or fail the mission.
And it doesn't help in some cases.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's very easy to fail this mission's bonus objective, and if you want to try it again, you have to start all the way from the beginning with this.
Okay, so let's just checkpoint this. It took you about 2.5 minutes to do the first tailing segment.
Right.
And that is literally like doing it perfectly.
Yeah, because, again, I had already done this a few times, and I knew exactly what to do.
Right. Now you have to get across the courtyard.
This is another really simple thing, which, again, I went exactly for, because, again, I've done this a few times.
Yes. So it will take you another 40 or so seconds to destroy the plans. We're now at 3:10. I would like to point out that every single time you're going to have to redo this if you don't get this objective. And this is we'll get there.
Yeah.
Alright. Final point of this. Final part. It's not even the final, it's the second third of this opening portion.
Yes.
Opening third of... By the way, this is the opening third of this mission. We're 2/3 of the way through 1/3. You know, it's like we're 2/9 of the way through this mission by now.
Yes.
Okay.
Where is Da Vinci's machine? Follow us.
There we go.
They have hidden
Yeah, that part you have to entirely stealth through. You can obviously kill people if you want, but again, I was pretty not in a great mood at this point, so I didn't want to bullshit around very much.
I do like how they said they captured 3 guys and there's 1 guy dead in the back of the cell.
Yeah, that is a nice little touch.
Yeah, otherwise you just say we got 2 guys, so we can go do it. Oh, you got 3.
Unfortunately, there is it's not a huge amount of fighting, but there is a bit. And again, this is another thing you have to do every single time you repeat this mission.
Yes, and so it took about 30 seconds to get the guys out of the cell, so about 4 minutes to do the first third of the mission. There we go.
Now my thinking there was I was going to run ahead and start killing some dudes while they're busy with that last dude. And, well, it kind of worked out. They did spawn in, thankfully, but I will slaughter this crowd, and then I'll come back and find they're still working on that first guy. Or no, well, there's one guy.
They're making their way back over here.
But in any case, they are. Yeah, for some reason he broke off from the guy we saw him fighting earlier. Then he ran back to help his buddy.
Yeah.
These guys are not, for engineers, they're not very smart. And of course, I have to do everything because again, I've had quite enough of this mission.
Yes. All right. So, roughly speaking, the first half of the second third of this mission takes about a minute-ish to complete, depending on how fast you kill everybody. There's a lot of dudes. Your AI partners can suck.
I mean, but it's an Assassin's Creed game. You're kind of used to the AI allies being useless. Except, I will note with prominence, Syndicate's friendly AI, which is not half bad, actually.
Okay, so now
here comes this part is completely unnecessary. This is platforming for the sake of platforming.
And it's not just platforming for the sake of platforming.
Oh yeah, and you can see a treasure chest back there, right?
Yeah.
That's something at least.
Yeah, okay, so it's not even just platforming for the sake of platforming. You have to go and unlock a few gates for your guys. Now, you'd think, oh, hey, I could just run ahead and unlock all 3 gates that I have to unlock before these guys get here, so that way everything goes pretty smoothly. No. The game will actually forbid you from going any further, so you just have to keep unlocking each gate one by one.
I like to think Ezio is getting as impatient as I am. Because I had about enough of these two for one night.
Yeah.
I will lower the bridge.
So here is the last little bit of this. So all in all, you're going to see that it's going to take about 7.5, 8 minutes or so, running everything perfectly through this first part of the mission.
Yeah, it's something you'll get very tired of because you keep doing the same thing over and over, and there's no way to really speed it up. This is about as fast as you can get through this section. Which admittedly is a pretty good time. All that bit done under 7:30, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Here comes the worst part.
No instruction.
Okay, you're in the tank. Tank's pretty easy to control. The thing is, you cannot get hit by any cannon fire in this mission, in this part. If you get hit by any cannon fire, you fail the bonus objective.
Correct.
Now, thankfully, they do throw you a bone in that small arms fire does not fail you. That would be really bad. The guys there are just really for killing shit. They do nothing.
Yeah. They're there for scenery.
Yeah, the worst part of this mission is not this bit. This bit is actually pretty easy because you only have those gun emplacements. They're pretty easy to take out once you kind of get the hang of the arc of the cannonballs. So that's not hard. The hardest part is at the very end when small spoiler alert, you fight 2 tanks at once, and because the courtyard is filled with rubble, it's very easy to get caught on that rubble and thus be completely immobile when they shoot you. So you have to start the whole thing, every bit again.
Right.
Oh, did you see that monster kill? Got 4 of them in one shot.
Yeah. Oh god. So, yeah, I know. I'm so completely numb to this mission at this point in my life. Like, this is a very good run at a mission that you will... Like, the worst part is like, you could do this, and every once in a while, like, if you're just not really careful, a gun in place, one of the cannons will get you, because you have to keep moving side to side in order to dodge it. And if you stop for just a second, it will nail you. You
pretty much know where they are before you actually see them, which is one of those things you'll learn on repeat playthroughs of this mission, but it doesn't make the pain any easier. Oh yeah, and don't bother going into first person. That's bad.
It really kind of sucks. So anyway, as you can see, we've now managed to get to the first third of the last, Okay, so now, if you actually hold down the trigger, you will automatically fire, which is a small godsend.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but as you can see, it's taken us about 10 minutes to get
Yeah.
to the final quarter.
And this is about it. This is
This will be something that you will have to probably redo
Yes.
a bajillion times to do this mission because it sucks.
yeah.
so
It's
bad.
just
So if it takes you 3 times, you've wasted
yeah.
half
And
an hour of
keep
your
in mind,
life.
I'm recording, so every second I waste is more space that's wasting on my hard drive.
Yes. Now, there is fun things you can do with this part of the game, which I don't think you've.
No,
you're
I'm
not
doing this
showing
the
off
right way.
because it's,
Or
know,
let's say
I
the
stopped
idiot
caring.
way. You are an idiot if you do it this way, even though that's the way to. Now that was really dangerous right there. 90% of the time I would have gotten hit there.
Yes. 90% of the time, and you got tripped up because.
Yeah, and that too. I crashed into another bit of scenery.
Yeah, yeah. So the real smart way to do this, by the way, is you can actually go near the out of bounds border and not actually go out of bounds, but things will stop firing at you, and then you can just shoot.
Yeah,
them.
that's how a smart person
Because-
would do this. Not the dumb
Because-
way.
That's how I would like to say. The real way to do this is because fuck.
No,
this
I don't wish
stupid
I
shit.
could keep
Wish I
you.
could keep you.
I'm cool with blowing the shit out of this stupid thing.
Well, I like the tank. I just don't like. Tank. And of course, the entire purpose of doing a no damage run was.
Boom.
I don't know.
I mean, we were gonna blow the thing up anyway. It's seems hardly as a waste.
It's just like a. Ezio's so goddamn awesome with the fucking tank that he didn't get hit at all, and then he just blew it up himself. Sweet. God.
Now,
damn,
I will
such-
say that's the nadir for bonus objectives in this game. There are some that are pretty annoying, none like that, where you just have to redo a large chunk of repetitive gameplay every time you fail.
Yeah, the only one that comes close to it is probably the don't get hit while doing the Romulus attack.
yeah, that
the Remus attack in the beginning. But
The liberation
That
of Roma has begun.
is literally the very start of a mission.
Too
So
close.
if you fail, you can restart, and it doesn't take
And
you
we
any time.
I would gladly
You
fight
waste 10 minutes of your time and stare at a
And
fucking
again,
wall.
keep in mind, 10 minutes is just about as perfectly as you can do that mission. There is not a whole lot of time I could have saved there. But
Yes.
yeah, all of these Overseer missions are really simple. Trust me, you did not miss anything. Let's say forgetting to record that first one. I actually do, even at this late stage in the in my recording of this game, I do actually still have a bit to record. I had to do some of the funner cheats and a bit of sequence 8, I believe, that kind of glitched out for me when I was recording, but that's nothing. That'll take me half an hour probably. Oh yeah, but the one good thing is that unlike some of the other Assassin's Creeds, you do not have to get 100% to 100% synchronization to get all the. Well, you do. You have to get for one, but that's DLC. But thing is, I think DLC trophies do count for the platinum if you're playing the PS4 version, which is kind of dumb, but eh. I will say it's a lot easier to get the PS4 version of this platinum than it is on the PS3 or let's say the last generation version of Brotherhood, where you have those fucking online trophies.
Yeah, the small favors.
I was
You don't
getting
have
some
to
pretty
get
cool
them all.
kill animations there.
Yeah. So there's another Overseer dead. Yeah.
Yep.
And you just had to kick him in the nads.
That's it. It's
That was your
about as
bonus
simple as
objective.
it gets.
Now, thankfully, the next two. I'm trying to think of what the next bonus objective that you might have is. If you're going out the North Gate, that might be
We'll see.
boat.
Well, I know the answer, but we will see how good your memory of this game is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm playing fucking Use 8, and I already started to drink tonight because I saw you were doing the fucking take.
Well, the pain
tank
is
mission,
over
so,
now.
Yes. I think it took me about 5 or 6 tries to do the tank mission. But I didn't always get fucked up into it, and I just also randomly got pot-shotted by the cannons every once in a while because I just could not dodge fast enough. Because I was just sniping from long distance away using cover. But every once in a while the cannonball would just like nail me somehow. It's called invisible walls. Alright, so we are now doing the boat mission. Yay.
It's not the funnest vehicle of these 4 missions, but I do really like the Napoli here. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Napoli.
Yeah.
This one is this is a weird bonus objective and kind of a weird mission in general.
Yeah. So, we'll kind of get to it, but...
Tell your comrades that only Eduardo may examine the invention up close.
Oh yeah, and another thing I should mention about these War Machine missions is that every time you do a new one, you can get a new invention from Leonardo.
Travels by boat to see the mechanism now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can kind of buy them out pretty quickly, to be honest. There's only 3.
One of them's not hugely valuable, it's the poison darts, but you'll definitely want to get the double hidden blades and jump glove as soon as possible.
Yeah. Oh, too bad you didn't go to the redo everybody at the birdhouse before you came
We'll
out.
manage, I think.
Yeah.
Give me their plans.
You are the assassin, am I right? You must stop
He's quite willing to help, which is probably why he gets to live. Except for that whole not killing the innocent business, I suppose.
So, this is really stupid.
I do like him complaining, though. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So basically what he's doing is you kind of just have to swim and dodge a bunch of people.
It's kind of a pseudo-tailing mission. But the thing is, you get desynchronized if you get detected. And there's not a whole lot of places to hide in this particular setup. You mostly go through this pretty long cavern here. Or tunnel, whatever.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing sketchy going on here. Oh hey, you can even see me popping in the water. That's great.
Yeah. So, that is the first gate open, and so we now only have 2 gates
But
left
this
to do
one
the
could
bonus
not be
objective.
helped. This is a cutscene.
Yeah. Yes. They're all cutscenes. You just have to get to the guy before the cutscene. So basically, the entire point of this bonus objective will now be we have to beat Eduardo to the other side of one of these gates so we can unlock it ourselves. Fortunately, it's also tailing, so we can't get too
and
far
that
ahead
can
or
actually
too
be
far
pretty
behind
tricky
him.
because the range on getting too far ahead or behind him is pretty strict from what I found. I did fail. Yeah, see, right here I'm going a bit further ahead than I really should. The game's gonna start yelling at me soon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, there's not a whole lot of places. Yeah, the game. Yeah, I get it. There's not really any places to hide. The guards can still see you up here and pretty easily. So you do kind of have to get right. Yeah, right. Like right there, I cut out where I got caught.
And then we have fun with
Yes.
jumping to the side.
Luckily,
which
I
you
did
never
not
really have
cut
to do.
too far. This area is much more generous with checkpointing than fucking tank mission. Oh, what was that? Yeah, I know, but why did Ezio fire it
he
like
hit
that?
the
You'd
beam.
think his aimbot would be on today.
Yeah, I've had to do it, and I've also had to not kill the guy, and he looks
Sounds
like a
about
saw.
right.
Yeah. So this is. Now, why,
Yeah,
why did
I
Ezio
don't-
have to even do this? I don't know.
I don't-
He
I
just
don't get why he
decided to
did that
be
either.
awesome.
But again, these guys I don't think are exactly getting paid for their crack guarding work. Like, you would think that guard would find it a little suspicious that gate opened without, you know, any prompting. But again, it's these guys.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, this mission isn't as bad because even if you fuck up,
Wait, please.
so it should be said that with the tank mission, we never really got to this. The problem with the tank mission is that there's all. It's that when you have a mission that the bonus objective is don't take damage, even if you take damage and die,
Yeah.
it doesn't reset. In a case like this, if you fucked up and the thing got opened but you got spotted,
Yeah.
you can still redo the mission. You can still die, and
Yeah, and even
still
if you
have
get
the opportunity
desynchronized,
to do
it
this.
doesn't matter that much since the game won't throw you a huge ways back. The equivalent with this mission would be if we got spotted on this sequence and I got thrown all the way to the start of the mission. That would be roughly how the tank mission actually does it.
Yeah. And it's damage is like the only bonus objective where it'll actually do this to you. Where once you're fucked in a run, you're fucked in a run. You can't go back and ever just like, oh, you took damage, just restart from the
Yeah.
checkpoint where you hadn't taken damage. That doesn't happen. It's just a really annoying thing that this game
Occasionally.
happens to do. With that type of yeah, there's only a couple,
But
and
to
it's
be
really
fair,
just
it's
that
not like,
one where it's
oh, what was, I should have killed that guy. That was ridiculous.
you should have killed that one.
Oh, yeah,
too.
obviously. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Well, you woke him up so he can go open the door.
As I said, this is kind of a weird bonus objective. Yeah.
And it's done, which is the thing.
Yeah,
that
I was
matters
actually...
probably
The game is kind of dumb sometimes in that it won't mark bonus objectives as completed until you finish the mission. But rest assured, I did get the bonus objective. Oh hey, I've never actually seen Ezio dive with the crossbow out like that. Yeah.
So yeah, we're still under stealth rules, by the way. So this is just like
No, while tailing usually is
Kinda
boring,
weird.
I do have to give this mission some credit in that it makes it pretty tense in that, you know, you're swimming in the water, you don't have a lot of mobility, and your ability to hide is also not great because you have to surface for air. So you can't just glide under the water indefinitely. So it makes it a little more tense than Tails usually are in this series.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why we really had to follow this guy. Maybe to ensure that the plans got destroyed. I mean, it's not like there's any chance we could get lost in here.
Well, he's the one who knew where
Oh,
it was.
yeah,
and
I guess
he
there is
went
that.
down the secret mode.
At least
get
he's
there.
not a blabbermouth.
I like how we're now just at the point of fuck it.
Smell that? Guardo is right. Open the gate.
King of the shipboat.
There's Eduardo.
Captain of the shipboat.
Now the thing is, there are actually gondolas still in this game. They're not just in Venice and Assassin's Creed 2. A few of them are hanging out on the banks of the
Yeah.
Tiber. There's also ones in the moat, on the backside of the moat of the Castel Sant'Angelo, but the only reason to go back there is to pick up the one Borgia flag that eluded me in the Il Vaticano for quite some time.
Yes. Detection now permitted. Fuck it, let's just kill everybody.
I'm
still rusty. I can only kill one
I
dude
still
at a
like
time.
how, even if you get
No,
into
I told
open
you-
conflict
yeah,
with
no,
a dude, you can still stab them if you do it fast enough, like they're not prepared to intercept you.
On him!
Yeah.
You want it in the gut or the head?
Taunting will make them break off an attack.
Never had to
Whoa,
actually
look at
use
that.
it?
That armored guy. And
Now
there's
we've
the
reached
boat we have to
arsenal
destroy.
area of this floor.
But, again, since we're Ezio Auditore, we can't just blow up the boat. No, we've got to blow up a lot of boats. It's just including that one.
Then you should stay tonight as well.
If you played Assassin's Creed 2 and had the Templar Lair DLC installed, you might also recognize this area as looking fairly similar to the Arsenale in Venice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a shipyard, so we can kind of forgive them for that.
One thing I have been playing Revelations a lot. One thing I will say is that Revelations is really a lot more colorful than this game is.
Yeah, they redid the. You can see where they started where they were trying to start to plug in a lot of the Assassin's Creed 3 graphics upgrades, and it really does help make that game. Plus, you're also running in Turkey.
Yeah, there's
Istanbul.
considerably different architecture than
And
just
it's
going
just
from
very, very colorful.
one Italian city to another Italian city in this game. But it's just going from this game straight into Revelations. You can tell a lot more work went into the texturing.
Yeah.
Now, stupidly, I did get lost here. See, I'm gonna run up to that higher place where you're supposed to go, but again, I got lost, and then eventually I got spotted. Which, you know, up until this point, I was doing a pretty good job of not having everyone know where I am. Yeah, you can already see that dead guy from when I came up here before. But yeah, you're supposed to go over to that other side. You may have spotted that one guy way over on that catwalk, and that's where we're supposed to go. Yes.
Yes, next to the glowing lever. So obviously, what we're about to do is really what we're trying to reach the flight control levers, which is on a really out of the way catwalk in this entire place. Now I know that I'd like to make an OSHA joke, but I also know this is
well,
medieval Rome.
high
It doesn't
Middle
really-
Ages, I think, is the preferred
not medieval, but, you know.
nomenclature.
Renaissance, yes. Yeah, well, it's the Renaissance. Still, there's like no way to get there.
I think we also just drowned a whole bunch of
That's a
guys.
random jump. That's really weird.
Let's see if you can find your master.
Yeah, all of them were.
Were they
But
wearing
I guess
armor?
it doesn't really matter since everyone dies from touching water in the Ezio games anyway. Yes.
Except for Ezio. So you thought that Assassin's Creed 3 was the first
You
game
would
to
be
bring
wrong
naval
about that.
combat into this series? Wrong! And now random plot shit about Mount Vesuvius, which doesn't really make any sense. Anything.
The boat can be a little hard to steer precisely because it does use the gondola controls. But
Yes.
yeah,
And you can't fire and steer at the same time.
I mean, I
you
guess
have
it
to
makes sense because you know
kind
Ezio has to focus on
Coast.
actually launching the stupid things.
Right.
Yeah.
This is obviously something
Thankfully,
that's being
because
meant to
that-
be used by more than one person. And unlike the tank, we just didn't have a.
Yeah.
A
I mean, to be
full of
honest, we
trusty
probably
dudes
could
to
have
help us
handled
out
the
with
tank
this,
by
so we're
ourselves.
kind of on our own.
Just because, you know, we are playing as Ezio Auditore.
Every 5
actually,
seconds, Ezio swats.
You know,
It's back and forth. As he's on one side of the tank, and then he's on the other.
it is pretty kind of a
And then
nice
he's firing the
attention to
gun,
detail, I gotta
loading
say.
the cannon.
And yeah, when it says sails destroyed, it doesn't mean the boats. Except, you know, if we've ignited and set it on fire and such. You only have to destroy the sails, yes. Now, this game actually did start a 4-game streak of naval combat in this series. You have this game, you also have Revelations, where you sink boats at one point. Then you have Assassin's Creed 3, where you have a boat, and Assassin's Creed 4, where you also have... Oh, and Rogue, I forgot about Rogue. So actually 5 games in a row featuring naval combat.
Where you have a boat. Right, and then in Assassin's Creed Syndicate you have a train, and you can...
As hilarious
Well, you
as
fight
that
on the
would
train,
be.
you don't actually use the train to fight fire stuff.
And Assassin's Creed Origins will also have naval combat of some
It's
variety.
called Spirit Tracks.
Did you hear about that history tour mode?
I can only wait.
Apparently what they'll do is they'll have a mode where they get rid of all the story and combat and such, and you can go around and visit a bunch of places where you'll get sort of mini lectures from professional historians on like daily life in 49 BCE Egypt, or the Great Pyramids, or the daily life and such, and it sounds like a really cool idea.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes, I like how that one guy kind of cartwheeled.
Trying to kill in my fictional video game even more.
Getting a little over dramatic there, I think. Now the thing is, the arc on these things is pretty short, so you do have to actually get up pretty close to set those sails on fire. Usually when they're lit up like that, that's when you know you're in good range.
Yeah. Now this is thankfully not very hard because they can't actually
The
broadside
advantages
you
of having
for
a
whatever
small
reason.
boat. They will set your sights on your. They will set their cannons on you like that, but you shouldn't ever be able to get hit by them. And again, luckily, if you somehow are bad enough at this game to get sunk, you just go back to the checkpoint. That was funny.
Alright, we've now destroyed 4 or 5 of these.
Boy, nobody's getting brownie points for this.
Oh god. No. Oh no, Ezio, there's another 3 of these things flying away from those ships. We've got to chase after them.
You're in the middle of the goddamn ocean.
Ezio, what are you doing?
Sea, whatever. Oh, we're just gonna swim back shore. Alright then. So yeah, all in a day's work.
Yes.
Piece of cake.
Splash.
4th.
Alright.
Alright,
Now
what the-
time at long last for the third and
Well,
final
the
of these.
third of, let's say the third of this video,
The
shall
third
we?
and final of the optional Leonardo missions. Yeah,
Now, actually, there's a pretty, unlike in Revelations, in Revelations there's no actual benefit to 100%ing the rebuilding process, but in this game you do get a cool cape out of it, which makes it all worth it.
yes. You get a cool K plus. There are.
Yes.
You do get discounts for the number unlocked, which is also nice.
And yes, by this point, in a previous video, I did buy the fast poison upgrade, I believe. Or craft it, I should say. You buy it in Revelations.
Fast poison? No, that would be
this
the...
was a good this was a good
side quest.
position for a poison dude because these guys can't actually
round.
back up inside the hay bale.
Yes.
He just flopped over again.
Anyone see the bastard? It's them.
The last war machine.
Okay, and now for the...
So we had a machine gun, we had a tank, we had a boat. What else? What could be next?
I don't want to say. I
Oh,
know
it's
what
right
it
there.
is.
How lucky for us. Yeah, they never do actually put the war machines very far from where the overseer missions happen, which is a nice touch.
Congratulations for ripping off your tiny minuscule amount with the thing in front of the dudes, who will in
Isn't that
turn give you
grand?
that same a little bit back. Yes.
But yeah, I assume the equivalent, I wonder if they'll kind of de-emphasize the database and Origins just because you can do that history tour thing.
I'd like to pretend now in my mind that while you're going through this,
Yeah, that
the
might
historians
that
are
might be
writing
pretty
it,
cool, actually.
but it's Sean who's speaking it out to you,
Well, you gotta have Seanisms.
and then you get Seanisms in there, just because.
So yes, we have to hijack a prototype bomber.
All right.
Yes, but this one is much better because you can
This
nuke
looks very
people
similar
from
to the
it.
flying machine that we used in Assassin's Creed 2. The other one,
get
you
a
could
trophy
kick people
for it.
off rooftops and watch them go screaming down to the streets. And then you could fly around Fordley for no real good reason. Yeah, so this is actually a really
It's not
simple bonus. Well,
offensively
the
bad,
bonus
which is about as
here
much
is
as you can ask
okay,
for.
See, the thing is, it says don't get shot. It doesn't say don't take damage. Which is actually a very big key difference in this fucking game. It's actually you would not
And
believe
yeah, the best
how
way
big
to
of a
scare
difference
off
it
bards
actually
is just to fast walk into them. Because if you punch them, local guards will get angry at you for that, and it'll make noise. But if you just fast walk into them, you'll get them out of your hair quite easily. Or, you know, you can just throw them money, which is, you know, what they want in the first place.
Yes.
It's a classic.
I still have to say, I really do love the Bard mission from Revelations.
They're not in Revelations,
It's
actually.
finally having 3 games of putting up with the...
Although there are the beggar women, which are basically the exact same thing.
Fair enough, but...
A lot of bards around here, I've noticed. I love how now we've had 3 missions of manhandling architects.
Give me the plans.
Yeah.
No, I will not. Stop! Stop! Where are the plans? Past the guards. In my house.
I mean, obviously we can't let Cesare have a Leonardo da Vinci bomber on his hands.
Grazie.
It probably would have made things easier for everybody else, all things considered. So yeah, now we're...
You gotta be stealthy here.
Yes.
Although I do like how the game gave you the location on radar. I mean, they've done that all the time, but the directions the architect gives you are not exactly clear. So it's much better to have, you know, it marked on radar rather than you searching around like a.
And now this is one of the more interesting things in the game. You have to go get behind a large group of guards, but
yeah, and just because it isn't a huge red zone on the map does not mean they won't instantly become. Well, we're already marked as notorious, so I guess it makes sense.
To be fair, we did beat up a guy and let him go. And he obviously ran to the guards, so it's not that big surprise. So it's interesting because this is one of the few times where social blending actually is a real must-have in this game. Like, you have your mission that teaches you about it, it's required, and then you have this mission, and I can really only think of like maybe 2 others where it's actually a big deal. 2 or 3 others where it's a big deal. It's not really. I mean, it's very useful. Not during missions. It's just during missions. You know what I'm trying to say. It's just not in the normal skill set of things that Ezio has to use. Ooh, and if he had the jump glove, that would have been maybe he could have made that.
No, we don't need the horse. The horse is bad. The horse will get us spotted. Now, one thing that actually is pretty cool about this mission and the architecture of the place we're going into is that it's pretty open-ended. There's a lot of different ways you can get to the objective, and the place itself is pretty labyrinthine, so you kind of have to feel your way around for how you get to the bomber.
So we're going to be starting out on this on pretty much on the complete opposite end of the tower that we need to get to in this fort. And you kind of run into a problem in a couple of these spots where you can't climb this tower up from ground level. You actually have to go up on and start to climb from one of the higher, the ramparts, I should say, because there's not a way to do it. And as you can see, you kind of walk around. There's nothing really in the ground level to grapple to.
Yeah, so it's one of those things you have to kind of intuit how you get up there. And again, this is a third in a row where you can't get spotted or fail the mission. So you do have to be pretty careful and, you know, keep a lookout before you start climbing on shit.
But at the very least, this is one segment where you can kind of just checkpoint yourself and not have to worry about it too much.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I will admit I did get spotted on my previous attempt, but you probably didn't notice that because I cut when I jumped into the hay bale, so not something. If I didn't admit to,
you probably would have noticed.
Probably wouldn't have noticed that. Which is why I do like jumping into hay bales and missions, just because it's kind of an Assassin's Creed tradition, and it makes a good cutting point.
The secrets exposed.
Yes.
Wrong.
This is not working. Although it is nice that apparently I made that a lot harder than myself. But hey, now they really don't know where I am.
And this tower is completely stupid. Again.
Yeah.
Because
the one stupid tower I can kind of understand in the Ezio trilogy is the Giotto's Campanile in the 2. Just because the database makes a point it's not finished, unless the architecture's all screwed up. That makes sense. This tower presumably is constructed, and yet is completely impossible to actually get up without, you know, doing a lot of ridiculous platforming.
Right. Now, it's weird because theoretically, well done.
Everyone who piloted one died. Now, because this is Ezio, we can't just kill these guys. We got to do it in style.
Yes. Yes.
Ezio's such a dick.
Now, I'm gonna assume that maybe there's a giant. Maybe they did it and then they put the giant lift there. But how did they get up here?
The bomber dropped them off. And then they somehow managed to land the bomber perfectly.
Yes.
They intend to craft more weapons. Leonardo.
So if you played Assassin's Creed 2, the controls for the bomber are identical. It's a little easier to sort of freely control where you're going. It's not just hoping to... It just wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without, you know, people flying and stuff. But the glider controls pretty similarly. You have to make your own bonfires to lift up, which is nicer than having to panically go from one to the other. But again, the point of that mission wasn't quite... You obviously weren't blowing up a lot of shit in that mission.
Right. Now, there are, obviously in this part of the mission, you gotta blow up these 4 camps. Each one of these furnaces takes 2 bombs of fairly well. They're more well. They have to be more well placed than you'd think. Sadly.
Oh! I was wondering why I was never on camera. It's because I was using the first-person mode. I was thinking that I was so high up, I literally wasn't even on the camera anymore. Yeah, just generally steer clear of those towers, because if you get hit, you'll have to suicide yourself.
Yes. Now, because this isn't don't take damage, if you get hit and you ram yourself into the ground and die, you'll actually restart the checkpoint and not be fucked. So it doesn't actually require multiple attempts to really redo this.
Yes.
And also, randomly, I think a lot of these like stupid little things kind of like respawn. Or they built new towers.
The towers?
Yeah, it feels like there's more of these things that show up as this mission goes on, but I don't know.
And yet, you kind of have to get used to how the dive bombing works, because the momentum on it seems weird at first, and you don't get quite as much out of it as you think you might.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you kind of have to get used to how it handles. It's hard to describe.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not working well, but at least I got out of there.
And also, to be quite honest, while you should steer clear of the guys on the watchtowers, their aim really fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to hit you. Now we got one last part.
2.
Alright.
Yes.
Oh, that...
But you did it after the checkpoint!
Yeah. So I'll just start right back at the start of that sequence.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
I was kind of worried I didn't see that when I was editing this video, but that's because it was part of the video I wasn't looking at. How did that happen?
So, to be honest, so now, the bomber mission is probably the second least liked vehicle mission, because people don't always like how the bomber controls, but at the same time, it's just like...
Yeah, the punishment for fucking up is not very much, so it's hard to get angry
and it's
at
fucking hilarious when it happens.
Yeah, the carriages can go right... Oh, I just firebombed the horse. That wasn't very nice of me. You actually do have to hit the carriages. The carriage going through fire or hitting the horse, that does not count.
Yeah. So what? They've actually built a whole bunch of these fucking things. Like, this has been their most successful build, believe it or not. Now, is it because... I mean, they built 4 tanks. They built at least 5 of these gliders.
Yeah, but as the guy was saying, they were all failures and got everybody killed.
Well, no, I'm not even counting that. I'm assuming the ones that they're trying to save were.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, you see that shit?
Yeah.
I nailed that guy behind the fence.
Yeah, Cesare must know that we fucked over yet another one of his fucking plans.
It's actually pretty funny. Cesare has no goddamn clue what's going on in Rome between the time we saw him at the Castello and when he eventually comes back later in the plot. He just has no clue things are going to shit behind his back.
Now, the funny thing is, even if this guy escapes, which he can, that doesn't even fuck you over for, like, not getting shot.
Oh, that was so goddamn close. I nuked the guy even when I was failing. You see that?
Cesare was right off screen. He could have told everything. And then he saw Ezio fly through the sky.
And then he vanished.
And then Cesare got mad and we destroyed all the prototypes and we destroyed the plans. It's really hard to say what exactly Cesare is going to do now. Maybe get mad.
Probably strangle somebody.
Go see a play, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Screw through Grisha in more than one way.
But yeah, Bomber controls can be a little annoying, kind of hard to get used to, but it's still pretty fun because, you know, there's endless appeal in bombing people from high up.
And that is the most ridiculous way to end the mission. And now you see. Boom.
Oh, detection is now permitted. Thanks.
Yes, detection is now permitted.
I think pretty much everybody in, you know, like a 10-mile radius knows where we are by now.
Your identity is now free. Detection is now permitted. Oh, God.
You remember that Revelations video where, you know, I was going on that last mission of Sequence 6, I think it was, and all those ships were on fire and I was running away and it said, now I've become notorious? That's what it reminded me of.
It's the little things. It's the little things of this game.
The series, more like. Oh boy.
Ezio, news has spread that all my inventions...
Now, in spite of my sarcastic chuckle there, the parachute actually is pretty useful because it allows you to jump off things easily, and it makes one particular mission later in the game quite a bit easier. And it's parachutes, you know, so if you're jumping off someone and you don't want to take a bad tumble, just open the parachute.
Yeah. And it also randomly reset whenever you go into layers.
Yes.
Because this game is weird like that. Alright. But hey, parachutes.